Mics are live. Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Trustees special meeting to order this June 18th, 2024. Cheryl, could we please have roll call?
Trustee Ash.
Here.
Vice Chair Criswell.
Here.
Trustee Gilstrap.
Here.
Trustee Hoskin Sutton.
Here.
Chair Isnard.
Here.
Trustee Ricketts.
Here.
Trustee Scruggs on through you.
Here.
Thank you. For the special meeting this afternoon, we have two executive sessions. At this time, I would call for a motion for the first executive session for the preliminary discussion of acquisition of real property with possible action to follow in open session for a 5-minute duration. Open session will take place in the Upper Jewel Lounge and in the virtual meeting room. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Members of the board will be allowed time to travel to the special meeting room. Thank you. we have a motion to return to open session?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are in open session. This time I would call for a motion to extend our first executive session for 5 minutes for the discussion of acquisition of real property with possible action to follow in open session. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Randy or Susan, I'm sorry, we were muted. I'm sorry. I apologize. My error, we were somehow muted.
No, no worries.
But can you do that again? I apologize.
We need to
Open.
return.
Oh, yeah.
We have a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are in open session. This time I call for a motion for the second executive session for consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, with possible action to follow an open session for a 30-minute duration. Open session will take place in the Upper Jewel Lounge and in a virtual meeting room. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll now switch to executive.
All right,
session.
Susan. Okay, we're unmuted.
Right. Do we have a motion to return to open session, please?
So moved.
Second.
So moved in second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are in open session. This time I ask that the board make a motion to extend our second executive session for 5 minutes for for consultation with attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. The possible action to follow in open session. Again, a 5-minute duration. Open session will take place in the Upper Jewel Lounge and in the virtual meeting room. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now return to executive session. All right, thank you. Do we have a motion to return to open session?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We're now in open session. That brings us to the end of our agenda for this special meeting. There will be no action necessary. At this time, I call for a motion to adjourn the special meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Good evening. At this time, I'd like to call the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Trustees meeting to order this June 18th, 2024. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Trustee Ricketts.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Thank you. I'll now read the KCKCC mission statement, which is to inspire individuals and enrich our community, one student at a time. At this time, could we have a roll call, please, Cheryl?
Trustee Ash.
Here.
Vice Chair Criswell.
Here.
Trustee Gilstrap.
Here.
Trustee Hoskins Sutton.
Here.
Chair Isnard.
Here.
Trustee Ricketts.
Here.
Trustee Scruggs on through you.
Here.
Thank you. Next, I'll ask for a motion to approve this evening's agenda. I'm told we have one amendment to that, though. Dr. Merger?
Yes, sir, Chair Isnard. I'd like to amend the agenda for the presentations to include the presentation of the University of Kansas Health System Award that KCKCC received, please.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda as amended?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we'll have the audience to patrons and petitioners. This time, I would invite the public to raise their hands in the chat or approach the podium for the opportunity to address the board. Attendees must state their name and address for the record before making their comment or question, and there is a 5-minute time limit. Do we have anyone in the chat?
There is no one in the chat.
Thank you. See none approaching the podium. We will move on. Next, we'll have the recognitions and presentations. This time I'd invite the presentation of the KCKCC Foundation Biannual Update presented by Ms. Mary Spangler, Executive Director of the KCKCC Foundation. Good evening.
Thank you, and good evening.
Good evening.
I will kick off strong with a quick update on the fundraising efforts of our team. To date, in terms of gift revenue, year to date, we've generated just shy of $12 million in both annual and capital campaign funding. That was as of June 11, so glad to report it's grown a little bit since then. We also, to drill it down by number, that's 2,063 gifts that have been processed and accounted for. The average gift size is just shy of $5,800. To break that down even further, annual fund, our total is just shy of $786,000, and also for capital cash collected, 11 million, just over 11 million. and we have another $2 million in pledges. So we've been very busy for our team thus far in fiscal year '24. We continue to meet with the Downtown Advisory Council. We talk about our fundraising that's in progress, some of our targets, marketing updates, and also development of the center, future centers, programs, and services. And our overall goal originally, when we started the capital campaign process, now 3.5, almost 4 years ago, was $62 million. So we have exceeded that original campaign goal, but we are continuing to fundraise to help support some of the pricing escalations that have evolved over that time period. Also, I want to update that we have so far received over $20,000 in Family Fund gifts, and the Family Fund is our internal giving program here at the college, and thankfully we have great participation, and we're grateful for that. And if we figure about an average of $750 scholarship, we can award, just with Family Fund alone, close to 30 scholarships. So our employees are making quite an impact, and we're grateful for that support. The ways that we raise funds here at our foundation is a combination of in-person asks. We also do direct mail appeals. We do email and social media campaigns, and we have events. And I'm really proud to report just recently with a couple of our events this spring and earlier this month, we've attracted 350 people to the campus. And that's always your goal, to get people on campus so they can see, touch, and feel and really experience our mission and what we're trying to accomplish here at the KCKCC Foundation. I will continue with some mention of events and some other collaborative efforts. And the Hall of Fame annual awards luncheon generated $116,000 for the General Scholarship Fund. I mentioned earlier this month we hosted our alumni, student scholarship recipients, donors, retirees, elected leaders for a dedication, a co-naming ceremony for the Early Childhood Center for Dr. Marjorie Blank, which was well attended and an exciting event. And then we invited all of our scholarship donors to join us afterwards for an opportunity to meet with scholarship student recipients. And it always is a joyful and wonderful event for the donors and for our students especially. So we're always proud to do that. Also, this past year, we've created, Katie Lindgren, our Foundation Scholarship Coordinator, has created a donor information guide. It details all the scholarships that we currently have available and also how to establish new scholarships. So a good marketing piece that is available on our website. If you don't already follow us on social media, I encourage you all to do that. Also, we have 4 new scholarship endowments that have been created with, proud to say, some alumni leadership givers with Frank Gibbons and Nancy Wilson, Dave and Pat Hurlbrink, the family of Marianne Flunder. They've established a permanent endowment in her memory and her legacy, and then an additional anonymous donor. But that's exciting because we want more endowment gifts permanently endowed so the legacies can live on. Our alumni newsletter continues to go out to 30,000 alumni, and we are continuing to work collaboratively with the marketing department to do better work and create good material. Lastly, I just want to mention that we have a dedicated group of community leaders who serve as our board members. I encourage you to check it out on our website for all their names. And one in particular who rotated off in December after a 6-year term. When she rotated off in December, we did not have her appreciation plaque ready, but thankfully, she's now an appointed board of trustees for our college. So I would like to present this to Mary Ricketts, if I could, please.
Absolutely.
Great. We call this Mary Square.
Oh, yeah.
Are there any questions?
Congratulations on all the hard work you and the team do, and it's exciting to see that 101% of the initial capital campaign funding. Congratulations to all the hard work.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Spengler, and we appreciate the work of the staff of the foundation and the board of the foundation especially. We couldn't do it without you. We really appreciate it. All right. Next, we have we'll invite the presentation of the Strategic Enrollment Management Plan Annual Update presented by Dr. Chris Myers, Vice President of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The state of the union of our enrollment management plan is good. So I wanted to give a brief update. Obviously, we speak a lot about this in our regular board reports. As a reminder, our enrollment goal for our enrollment management plan is by 2028 to get up to 3580 full-time equivalency. This will be equivalent to our 2019 enrollment levels. We fell a little short in fall 2023, but I think with a lot of the strategies and opportunities I'm going to speak towards, I think we're going to be well on track for next fall, or this upcoming fall. To remind everyone, these are our main key performance indicators. So these are based on the fall 23 numbers in terms of our enrollment management plan. We did see an uptick in applications for admission, and then also as has been reported before, we did see a little drop in our retention rates, but we're seeing some really good progress related to our fall 24 reports. One of the things I'm really pleased about and excited to talk to about is we're seeing some great improvements in our completion rates. So these are the 150% completion time is for essentially 3 academic years. So it's a cohort base. So in terms of our 2023 graduates, we're seeing some really great improvements in terms of completion rates, which speaks to retention and ongoing growth for our students. One thing that we did this year is we re-engineered and architected our application for admission to simplify it, to make much more smoother. That went live in December. For 2024, we've seen 4% more applications being processed compared to that same time last year. So we're already seeing some improvements in that response time to our students. And it's also showing up in our enrollment numbers too. If you saw from the report, our summer enrollment numbers look great. And more specifically, first-time student enrollment is up 26% in the summertime. We're really excited about that. Fall applications are down, but we do think a lot of that's related to the FAFSA complications. And we have a lot of specific strategies and efforts we'll be doing now between now and the start of fall semester to get those students enrolled. The other thing that we brought online is the Archer Nurturing campaign, which we've spoken about before. This is specifically a guided tour that students can do during the prospective student phase, which is a collaboration between student affairs, enrollment management, marketing, and many others on campus to provide a guided tour to nudge students to get to that application standpoint. And so we're already collecting a lot of data from students and seeing some great results from this engagement with Archer Education. But more importantly, it also has automatic email and text campaigns built into the program. So as students are doing the submit their information, doing the guided tour, they'll get nudges throughout the time period saying, hey, have you applied for admission? Have you talked to someone in the admissions office? To get them to that applicant phase. And then the other thing that was a key component of our SEM plan was to improve our orientation onboarding process for students. So very pleased to report that the admissions office started their admitted student days actually last week. So we're having a year-round new student orientation process. They're going twice a week right now in June. We have online sessions. Will be online before the start of the fall semester for students who can't get to campus. And this is really about getting them the information, getting them connected to advising, financial aid, and the resources they need to be successful when they come to our classes. I did mention our retention numbers. We're seeing some really good progress with retention numbers. This chart shows the retention rates for our fall 23 class compared to the fall 22 class. So this is the students that started in fall 23 that first-time students that were enrolled in the fall. The red line is the 23 line. You can see we're trending upward for all of our students. But more importantly, we're seeing some big gains in terms of eligible students, in terms of returning students, which is really exciting and promising. Underrepresented students, and female students. And so these are part of our strategies between now and fall is to continue to engage these students. More importantly, the students who are non-enrolled to figure out how we can get them into classes or on the right track for this upcoming fall semester. The other thing that's related to our Title III programming efforts and guided pathways is course maps. The Student Success Center, with collaboration with Academic Affairs and lots of people on campus, have been able to build course maps that are being integrated into our catalog and other areas. So we have the same information being presented to students in multiple fronts, which is a great improvement towards improving service for students. The Blue Connect student engagement platform, this is coming online through student services and student engagement for this fall, which will give students more information about how to connect with individuals on campus or clubs and organizations. And then also our ongoing STEM strategies that we're working on. We will have a retreat in mid-July with the entire STEM team to speak about this. Also keeping very mindful of artificial intelligence opportunities, how to automate tasks and processes. But also looking ahead, online courses are going to continue to be for the summer. 2/3 of our enrollment's online, but we have to continue to look at alternative modalities and course starts and more flexible options for students. That will be a key to our ongoing strategy. And went too far. With that, this could not be done without the collective efforts of a lot of people who are part of the STEM implementation team and other folks. And I want to acknowledge all the hard work and efforts they've been putting into the first year of our STEM plan. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions or comments.
Yes, one of the questions that I had was going to be later when you gave your other report regarding the student retention success part, and you mentioned the course maps. Mm-hmm. And I saw that pass by real quick, but I wanted a better understanding of that, the course maps. And is that something internally for the employees, the staff, or is that something that's shared with the students as well? How does that work?
It's shared with the students as well. And so they're part of the advising process. So as they meet with students, they work through these course maps that shows them what they should be taking the first semester and second semester to help them be on track towards graduation. And we're slowly building these things into the catalog and other places so it's more visible to everybody.
Okay. Yeah, when I saw that, and it said including the certificate programs too, I thought that is great.
Yeah.
But okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I won't ask it later now.
All right, if there are no other questions or discussion, looks like great progress. Thank you, Dr. Myers.
Thank you very much.
Next, I'd invite the presentation of the University of Kansas Health System Award by Dr. Mosier.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So we were recently recognized by the University of Kansas Health System for a program that we started shortly after I began here at KCKCC. I was contacted by their vice president who oversees operations in different areas of the hospital. They had changed the way that they were admitting students and wanting to give an opportunity for their employees, wanted to give an opportunity for their employees to receive their GED while on site, so they didn't have to leave work, didn't have to lose hours, had mentors assigned and such, and we had no idea how it was going to turn out, but we went into a partnership with them. Pam Lefebvre and Chris Bosserman, two of our GED instructors, started teaching out there, and we decided, okay, we'll share expenses on that, and see how this goes. Well, we received this Crystal Award from them last night, and it is a Partner in Excellence Award, which really goes to the entire college, and especially kind of recognition of what our GED program, continuing education, is doing for our community, and breaking new ground on how we offer education to our community. They did a really nice video for that event, and for those who were not able to make it, I thought we would just go ahead and share that at this time. So, Randy?
I was contacted by Jeff Navor, the VP for Hospitality Services, with this idea, and it just rang a bell immediately.
We changed our employment requirements so that some positions in our health system did not require a high school diploma or a GED. If you come in without a high school diploma or GED, your ceiling for growth is very low. And we wanted to create opportunities, and the only way to start that process was to have that GED.
It's amazing, and it's only because we work so closely together that it's successful. It's all about the students.
A lot of people would love to go to school and work at the same time, and Kansas City Community College is giving us an opportunity to come in and work. That means a big thing to a lot of people.
The entire program has had a great impact on our health system. Our partnership with the Kansas City Kansas Community College has really been instrumental in our GED program.
We couldn't do this program without them.
The relationship that our health system has had with Kansas City Kansas Community College is really so important and actually so powerful. Of course it's about the GED program, but really it's about people.
Being a single parent was really like a big brick wall that I had to climb. I didn't want to give up. I just didn't know how to go back to school and work at the same time. And applying at the health system really opened that door for me.
We see education being the core of workforce readiness and development, building that workforce of tomorrow. So whether it impacts our own talent pipeline, or honestly, whether it's opening doors for the entire workforce of our community. Programs like this do that.
The GED program has been a great way to create those pipelines because we're taking people, providing them an educational opportunity, and then allowing them to flourish inside of our own health system.
People have no idea how important this program has become. It's part of our culture and part of who we are. Many of our staff have been mentors to the GED students, and that's just become really fun to watch. Those relationships have become true friendships.
Timothy Carlo Mora.
We have a graduation once a year. There's a lot of people in there. Some of them are the friends and family members of the graduates who, again, never thought they'd see their loved one graduate high school.
The day of the graduation was very emotional for me. I cried a little bit, and I really wish my mother was still here so she could have seen the accomplishments that I have made in life.
All you have to do is come to the graduation ceremony and you watch the relationship between our staff that went through the program and the folks from Kansas City Kansas Community College that mentored and taught them during their time. And you just see hugs, and they're genuine hugs.
I actually had the privilege of attending the graduation ceremony last year. I was the stranger in the back row, crying tears of joy, celebrating with the graduates and their families.
It's great to see these students graduate. This partnership is something very special.
This is an opportunity for us to support them in their journey of life. And you know what happens? Those individuals become very loyal to our health system. They stay in our health system and they do great things.
29 graduates in 5 years. 29 individuals who never thought they'd have the opportunity to go back to school and get that diploma. And of those 29 graduates, 70% of them have moved on to additional roles within our health system that they would not have been eligible for otherwise.
You see people from almost like late teens all the way into their 60s going through the program, which is just so heartwarming.
The college has been the best partner we could ask for. We had no idea whether this crazy idea was going to work or not, and they've been by our side the whole time to make sure that it does work.
I think it's a perfect partnership.
It's made me a better person, a better leader, and a better woman.
We get great joy from seeing that because that's what we do. That's what we live for at the community college.
It's a lovely partnership that's innovative and unusual and opening doors to opportunity. That's the perfect collaboration.
We're really excited, honored, and very humbled by this award because together we're really super excited.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great night, and I'm a firm believer that there's multiple roads to success. So being able to open up this pathway to me is very meaningful. So thank you to all the people who made it happen, and this will go into our boardroom on the shelf to be proudly displayed as we have others come to campus, and we talk about some of the things that we do to help our students and our community. So I hope you enjoyed that, and again, thank you to Chris and Pam and Stephanie and everyone in continuing education for making this happen, Jackie, the whole work. So thanks.
Well, thank you. I was really excited to be able to attend the event as well. It was just awesome, and it just makes you so proud to be part of an organization that continues to break down these barriers to education and employment opportunity in the community. So congratulations, Dr. Mosier, and to all the faculty and staff who made this possible. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the communications portion of our agenda this evening, to which there are none scheduled. So we will move straight on to the next item, which is the board committee reports. This time I'll invite the Board Finance Committee report from Vice Chair Criswell.
Thank you, Chair Snard. The Kansas City, Kansas Community College Finance Committee met on June 11th. And just give you a couple of quick highlights. Of course, the first thing I'm always going to say and always hope to be able to say is that the college's financial position remains strong, and the college continues, of course, to effectively manage its financial resources. I don't know how many times I say that, but it sure feels good to say it. So I'm going to keep saying it. Next, one of the really exciting things that we did during this meeting was that there was a budget workshop that was conducted, and the full board participated in this budget workshop. The key content included, of course, planning for this coming budget cycle, also looking at what our options are financially, community impacts, based on our financial decisions. What would be some of the driving factors of our budget? Excuse me. And then also, I think one of the really neat things that we do or did is that there was kind of a mini education section built into the budget workshop. And what that did was that helped the newer board members to really be able to get their arms around what is the budget, what do we do with it, how does it, how is it developed, what are the decisions and driving factors and such. And it also helped to reinforce with some of the existing or non-new board members, just really to reiterate, some of those financial concepts, some of the decision points, and so on. So I think it was a really well received workshop, and I think it was excellently presented by Dr. Mosier and Ms. Roshine and her staff. So just wanted to give you all a shout out. It was a really great event, and I was I thought about it, and I went back and read some of the materials again after the meeting because I was so excited about it, because it was very, very interesting. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of that process. A couple other things real quick. I don't want to make this too long. Just a couple things that we continue to monitor as a board are, of course, the unemployment rates and its effect on enrollment. Because as you know, lower unemployment rates typically will trend with lower enrollment rates for community colleges, because the potential students are employed in the workforce rather than in enrolling in college. So we just want to make sure we keep an eye on that and just really look at all the trends and, help that to drive some of the decision making that goes on at the college. Next item we're continuing to monitor would be the unemployment rates and high job availability and its effect on hiring. And this is related to the combination of low unemployment rates, as you know, in Wyandotte County, and the availability of well-paying jobs are making it more difficult for the college to attract quality candidates for position openings, particularly in certain areas. So we, of course, will keep our eye on that and make sure that we strategize accordingly. Final item is the downtown campus. I'm not going to try to steal anyone's thunder here because Dr. Mosier has everything teed up in that area. Dr. Mosier, I just wanted to point out, though, that Dr. Mosier did give a downtown update during the Finance Committee meeting. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, that concludes my report. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Criswell. Appreciate the report as always. If there are no other questions or discussion, do we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us to the Board Policy Committee. I would ask if there is a report from Trustee Linda Hoskin-Sutton.
No, we won't meet again until September when the Senates are back.
Thank you.
I'm sure there's some internal between HR and the President's office working on something to present, but an official meeting won't be until the fall when the Senates are back. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will move to the Board Community Engagement Committee with Trustee Ash.
Yes. We really didn't have a meeting this month. I did attend the Livable Neighborhoods Task Force meeting at the end of May. And I talked with the executive director about the possibility of us giving a presentation to livable neighborhoods. I think it's been quite a while since we've, done one or given one. So she was very open, open to that, welcoming of having a presentation. So I'll get with Dr. Mosher and we'll, get them hooked up and figure out, he can sign somebody to do it, or if he wants to go and do it, or whatever the case may be. I also attended the UG Commission meeting last Thursday night, which there were two really special things there. One was a much well-deserved, probably long overdue recognition of Chester Owens. Most of you know Chester Owens from our community, and Chester's going to be moving to North Carolina at the end of the summer to be with his children, his daughters, there. But they had a special proclamation, a special recognition, for Chester, and it was really like I said, long overdue. And I'm surprised it only lasted about an hour, because you can talk about Chester for a long, long time if you know him. But the other thing was the conversation, discussion that there had been some public listening sessions around Wyandotte County regarding the unified government. Should the form of government be reviewed? Are there any updates or anything that might need to happen and occur? And Mayor Carolyn Cahar from Edwardsville was leading in that group and making the presentation, and so there was a pretty robust discussion after that. But that said, I'm made my presence well known that we were there and listening to the conversation, from the Board of Trustees. So, and that's all I have as far as community engagement goes.
Thank you, Trustee Ash. Any questions or discussion? If not, could we please have a motion to accept the report?
So moved.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again. And right back up, the ACCT/KACC Delegates Report, again with Trustee Ash.
Yes, so we had our quarterly meeting at Butler Community College on May the 31st and June 1st at the Andover campus, which is the one closer to Wichita. And it was, pretty good series of meetings, very informative. Jihang Lee, who is the executive director of the ACCT, which is our huge organization in Washington, D.C. that, works tirelessly on public policy and on behalf of community colleges and trustees, trustee development, so on and so forth. Jihang was there. And we had a good conversation with him. We had a legislative brief, and of course the legislature had ended. However, today the governor called him back into a special session for a tax bill and about some sports stadiums maybe that they were talking about. So I guess we'll have to wait till we get to the evening news tonight to find out if what, if anything, that they were able to accomplish. But we were not anticipating anything that was going to come out of that session today that was going to have certainly any adverse impact on the community colleges. So we're kind of in the down season, if you will, in terms of the legislature and so forth. So next thing up will be the ACCT. Well, there will be a quarterly meeting that will come up in September, and then in October the annual ACCT Congress in Seattle, Washington. Those are the next two things up.
Looking forward to that.
And may I add, regarding the Association of Community College Trustees, the ACCT, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, we will meet before October. We're going to meet virtually on July 22nd at 3 p.m. So if there's anything to bring back, I guess it would be the August meeting, because it will be past the, I think it'll be past the date for the July meeting. Yes. Okay. The 22nd, yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Appreciate the update.
That's it.
All right. Any questions or discussion? If not, could we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That brings us to the consent agenda portion of our meeting this evening. At this time, I'd call for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I oppose because, as I mentioned earlier, I have some questions about consent agenda item D. We have, let me get back to that on the screen here. We have 10 resignations, and 2 of those had a resignation day of April 29th and April 26th. So my concern is, why weren't they on the one for for May? And my other question is the one where it says that an officer withdrew his resignation. It dated back to October 30th of 2023. So my main question is it retroactive? Are we paying this officer money back to October? When did he come back? These are just things that I think the board need to be clear on before we vote, because we are setting a precedent by doing this.
If I may respond to the one, I believe this is where one of the officers resigned and then decided to not resign. I'm not sure of the date on that. I don't know if Chief has any additional information or not. It does say October, but I'm not sure if the date is accurate. He's coming forward. And the others, perhaps Mr. De Leon may answer, and maybe by the time we got them in and stuff, the board agenda had gone out if it was that close to the end of May, but.
There may be some information we can get this evening on this board, but I do want to remind us that we want to speak about non-elected personnel in executive sessions whenever possible when it's going to address a specific employee.
Okay.
So in this case, questions may be better addressed if they're sent to Dr. Mosier before the meeting, or if we could request an executive session to discuss that. Or there's always the opportunity to pull an item from the consent agenda before we vote on it to discuss in further detail. So
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Dr. Mosier did.
And I
Greg.
agree, and however, though, when it's printed like this and employees in the public see it, we want them to know that we are addressing it and that we're just not rubber stamping everything that comes before us. So I do appreciate what you're saying as well.
Absolutely. It's just
Yeah.
about privacy, not about transparency.
yes.
And I
Yeah.
do, Mr.
It's-
Goheen approached to,
Mhm.
did he have anything to share with us?
Sure. So let's go ahead. Thank you for that clarification and a good reminder to me. And if there are questions about documents that go out to the board prior to the board meeting, I'll just remind all trustees you're welcome to email the chair and I, and we can answer those prior to the board meeting if possible. And those were all separations, did you say? So you can vote without them, or you can just go ahead and take a vote on, just take a roll call vote on it as it stands, and I can provide an update at a later point.
Okay. And then I just had a couple more comments. I saw that Sean Pate resigned, and he will be missed. He offered a lot to the college. And then also congratulations to Barbara Stransky, a longtime employee, faculty member who retired.
Yeah. Great, thank you.
Thank you. I believe we did have a motion and a second and a vote, and the vote result
Yes.
was 6 ayes and 1 nay. So I don't
That's correct.
think we can move forward.
Okay.
Okay.
Great, thanks.
Now we are ready for presentations, starting with the Student Senate report, to which there is no report due to summer break. So we will move on to the President's report with Dr. Greg Mosher.
Great, yes, thank you, thank you. So again, we're really pleased and honored to receive the University of Kansas Hospital Award. We also had another awards session in June, on June 8th, and it was the Vanguard Awards. It's a first-time ceremony for the Vanguard Awards, and it was recognizing individuals within the Kansas City, Kansas community and Kansas City, Kansas Community College, really put together by Roger Suggs. I'll show this not just to show off my award, but they did a beautiful job at putting this together. So I'm grateful for their recognition for the Vanguard Award in the name of innovation. So future innovation awards will be the Greg Mosher Innovation Award. There are other individuals that it was really great to see being recognized across the community. Just to name a few, Earl Watson Sr. and Earl Watson Jr. were recognized. The musician Erica Coulter, Mr. Gary Washington, who we know also does some police work for us. Christopher Williams, the Heart Warrior Award, Mayor Garner, Leho Green, local musician, and so forth. Dr. Sean Darrett was recognized. Elizabeth Daniels for the Oxygen Award for FBOE. The list goes on. Teresa Holiday for the Miss Irreplaceable Award. So it really was a great event, a great turnout. I was glad we were able to host it here on campus. So this will be an annual event. So thank you to Roger Suggs and all of his efforts and his whole team that put this together. Mary Spangler mentioned the dedication ceremony of the Dr. Marge Blank Child Care Center, so we're happy about that. Our PTA program received full accreditation during this last month. Around the June 5th timeframe, I believe, as well, we had the dedication of the Ella Fitzgerald Listening Library. So the president and the executive director of the Ella Fitzgerald Scholarship or Foundation were here. They were so impressed with what we're doing that they are going to award additional scholarships, and VP Pope may have some more information on that. I mean, just tremendous great things going on. On June 4th, Governor Kelly announced the Broadband Adopt program for internet access across the state. KCKCC was awarded $239,400 for the purchase of 350 laptops that are eligible to be checked out to Pell eligible students. So we believe that will be very helpful moving forward with that. I know that is becoming more and more utilized by our students, that they can have a good quality laptop, check it in and check it check it out at the beginning of the semester, check it in at the end. During the KCKCC meeting, there was conversation about the new FLSA requirements and guidelines in relationship to exempt employees. It's a two-step process, and it is in regards to where we draw the line at the minimum salary compensation for an exempt employee. Currently, it's $35,368. As of July 1, that rate goes up to $43,688, I believe. So we are looking at that. HR is looking at that and possible employees who may be affected. January 1, 2025, if it passes, and there's questions on whether or not it will pass, that dollar amount jumps from right now where it's $35,568 to $58,656. So almost $20,000. So that would be a significant financial impact to the institution if that does take place. We did have just recently had our Title III Strengthening Institutions virtual site visit, and Dr. Myers may have some more information on that. Regarding just a quick downtown update, as I've mentioned a little bit in email, we did find another area that has possible contaminated soil. It's about 30 feet deep or so. Thursday, so they're doing some studies on how to address it. On Thursday, our environmental engineering firm will be boring 6 holes up to 35 feet deep to identify a possible perimeter and what the substance might be. So we're on a little bit of a pause for construction until that occurs. We should get the results by, that's a Thursday, we should get the results by Tuesday. It was just a couple $1,000s to pay for an expedited return of those official results from the lab. So then we'll know our direction of attack on that. Also with downtown, we're working with the 2024 congressional discretionary funds that are through Transportation HUD that have reporting requirements. The federal government has still not sent out what those reporting requirements are in the tracking of specialized groups. Primarily, their focus is the under income groups, lower income groups versus racial, sex, gender, etc. So we're working off of what we know were the 2023 guidelines from THUD. So there's a lot of work going into that. Our group is Amanda in the foundation, Dr. Baylog and others are working on the 2025 earmark request through Senator Moran's office, which is for additional AET equipment, which won't necessarily be downtown, but it will be used as a second AET lab given the demand by Panasonic. And then Leslie Stroheim and others, primarily Leslie, is working on the new market tax credits. And probably if I were to look at my email today, there are probably about 25 emails in relationship to NMTCs. And there are 48 people on that email distribution. So it floods our inbox. So with that and some of the other environmental studies and stuff going on, there's lots taking place downtown that is more on the back end of the project where, you know, people won't necessarily see it, but there's lots of activities going on. The new market tax credits, just as a reminder, will result in approximately $6 million for the project. That's $3 million for KCKCC and $3 million for Swope Health. So it's worth the time and effort, but it is a lot of time and effort, lots of paper, lots of lawyers, lots of financial bankers, etc. Upcoming, you know, so Wednesday we are celebrating Juneteenth. Jeremiah McClooney is the co-coordinator of the Juneteenth Celebration Committee, so I invite everyone to come out for that. It should be a really great time, and it's celebrating the day that the enslaved people in Texas learned about their emancipation. So we're excited to celebrate that. It's by the Math Building, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The keynote speaker is Kelly Hams Pearson, the conciliation specialist with the U.S. Department of Justice. We have our jazz band that will be playing, which if you didn't see it coming in, if you drive out on the humanities side of the building, the southern side by the Centennial Hall, you'll see our new jazz mural going up, which is absolutely beautiful. So I can't wait to get that done. And then also music brought in by KCKCC graduate Joseph Strauss III, I believe. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So a great day. So come in for that. Cabinet will be doing our retreat on July 10th and 11th. We're focusing on our divisional SWOT analysis to bring that to an institutional SWOT that I will share with you during our August board retreat. And we will be bringing in a facilitator to do the 40X program, which is the 4 disciplines of execution. And we'll be rolling that out to the college at convocation. So lots going on in the summertime. It doesn't slow down, but it's a lot of good work. And with that, I would take any questions. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Move approval
Thank
of the
you.
report.
Second.
A motion to accept the report and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Mosier. Next, we have the Executive Vice President's report with Dr. Baylog. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to present highlights of my work centered on institutional strategy, partnerships, and operations. This past month, we concluded the search process to identify our new Chief Human Resources Officer. We are excited to introduce Lorraine to the college community next month, but she brings over 35 years of experience, and most recently in higher education, but also private industry, state government, local government. I mentioned to you previously, these are tone-setting hires, and she brings a wealth of knowledge, expertise, experience, and frankly, enthusiasm to the role. And so we're excited to bring her on. I'd be remiss, though, if I did not take time to thank Sam De Leon for his work in not only serving as Director of Employee Relations, but really stepping up on an interim basis to serve as our Chief Human Resources Officer. We're very grateful for his work, for his leadership. I mentioned last month that we've kicked off bargaining or negotiation with our faculty negotiation team. Won't go into the detail of that, but do want to note that we've created a negotiation website that I'm pretty proud of, where all of the information related to faculty negotiations is found in one place, one source of truth. So everyone in the college community can go to that site to see the schedule of meetings, to see the archive of recorded sessions, to see all of our communications related to negotiation, as well as to be able to review the current version of the master faculty contract. So it is all in one place. Working collaboratively with the Office of Institutional Effectiveness to compile information that includes strategic plan updates, key performance indicator data. We will summarize that in our annual report to you and to the college community, really demonstrating our progress towards accomplishing the strategic goals contained within the current strategic plan. Also working with institutional effectiveness on a 5-year longitudinal analysis of high school student performance data. That's really in an effort supporting our work in fostering relationships with our local schools, advancing conversations there, and informing the work that we're doing to grow our capacity to address their needs. There's a real interest locally that includes Wyandotte County, Leavenworth County, to grow opportunities for students for dual and concurrent enrollment, particularly in career and technical education. So we want to make sure that as we broach those conversations, we're doing it in an informed way, that we're putting the supports in place to best serve those students, but we're excited about where those are headed, those conversations. In addition to fostering the relationships, the partnership that we have with local schools, we're doing the same with business and industry, local government, and other organizations. That includes Unified Government, Kansas Department of Corrections, and the Lansing Correctional Facility, where we celebrated the graduation of nearly 24 graduates, residents of the Lansing Correctional Facility, who just recently completed the welding certificate program there. Much thanks to Ashley Urban for her work, Associate Dean of Career and Technical Education. Tremendous job, and also with our faculty and support out at LCF. They do a great job, and we couldn't be happier for the graduates there. These residents, upon release, will re-enter society with skills that are preparing them to earn high five figures. I mean, this is transforming their lives, and we're honored to be a part of it. Also, Women in Cybersecurity in Kansas City. They are pulling back together. This was an organization that was in place. They disbanded for a while. Now they're back, and so I was happy to help them with their kickoff last week. Also developing a relationship, growing the relationship that we have with the DeBruce Foundation. Finally, as we've concluded the search for the Chief Human Resources Officer, that now affords us the opportunity to shift our attention to the Vice President for Finance and Operations. So we've initiated that search, and we're leveraging a recent pilot that we've executed with LinkedIn Recruit. So we're leveraging that to promote this position in front of hundreds, thousands of prospective candidates. And so we're excited about that. Sam will share a little bit more on our progress in deploying LinkedIn Recruit. I appreciate the opportunity. Welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Balog, for that report. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the Vice President of Academic Affairs report, Mr. Jerry Pope.
Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
A couple of things that Academic Affairs has been working on, sometimes behind the scenes. KBOR, so Kansas Board of Regents, as we all know, demanded or mandated a redesign of the general education core. And so through this last year, the faculty and academic affairs committee, myself, and the deans have been looking at our transfer degrees, so our associate in arts and our associate in science degrees, to make them conform to this new general education redesign. We didn't have to do a lot of changes, so that was really good. I think if it does what it promises to do, it'll be a really good thing for our students. So, you know, the point is that all of the general education courses would transfer to any of the Regents universities. So we're hopeful that that will be the end result. That's certainly the purpose of doing this. So that's a lot of things that we did this year that I haven't talked about, I think. We also have performance reports. Typically they've been data driven, but they've completely redesigned these reports. So for a few years, they're actually not going to have any data to report, but they have 4 tasks. So developmental English co-requisite course. So luckily, this college, since the spring of 22, has offered a developmental co-requisite English course called Integrated Reading and Writing. So we're ahead of the curve on that. We're one of the few colleges in the state that's doing it. The latest numbers show that 100% of the students who passed the developmental co-requisite course passed Comp 1 in the same semester. So they take those courses at the same time. So in one semester, those students are able to finish their thank you, able to finish their developmental. Developmental math co-requisite, we're not as far along, but we're working on that, and so we hope to have that done in fall of 25. Math pathways, so depending upon your degree path, you won't have to take college algebra anymore, so they're now kind of a quantitative reasoning course, a college algebra course, and a statistics course. I'm going to learn tomorrow about whether that's been paused or not. I've heard through the grapevine that it may be. So we have our System Council of Chief Academic Officers meeting tomorrow, and so we'll learn, I think, more about that. And then the final one, which Dr. Myers mentioned, is degree maps. And so I'm very happy that that's actually integrated with our catalog. And so my office through Janice kind of controls that catalog. It's completely electronic. And so we're able to get it updated and corrected if need be on just an immediate basis. So I'm very happy that we were able to do that.
And save some trees.
Yes, and it definitely saves some trees. We don't have to print all those catalogs anymore, and it's always up to date, and it's just there on the website. Some congratulations to a couple of people. Dr. Stacy Tucker was nominated for NISOD Excellence Award, or not nominated, she received the NISOD Excellence Award and went to Austin to receive that award a couple of weeks ago, so congratulations. Terry Huggins, Professor of Business, was recognized as Teacher of the Year, and she won the Henry Lewis Award. So congratulations to those 2 faculty members, yeah, Stacy's a faculty member too, so to those 2 faculty members. The Office of Assessment successfully helped all 110 programs, disciplines, and co-curricular programs. So we don't have 110 programs, but when you count the disciplines, which are departments, and you count our co-curricular programs, it comes up to about 110. Everybody submitted everything on time. Yay. So that's really nice. We had an increase in the number of visits to the Learning Commons Center, so that was really good. I want to highlight the music department just a little bit. I know I do that some, but they really are going above and beyond right now. They had their final 4-hour jazz showcase at Soiree Steak and Oyster House at 18th and Vine on Monday, May 13th. So, we're really trying to get out in the community and make KCKCC's music department and the college known in the community. Also, the chamber choir was one of 13 national finalists for the American Prize in Choral Performance for Small Program College and University Division. This is actually one of the nation's most comprehensive series of performing arts contests. So it's that next level. We've been winning the Downbeat Awards, but this is kind of that next level for the department. So I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted that. And I won't say any more. There's a lot of other things that are going on, and you can kind of see it through the report. And I'm happy to take any questions and provide any answers I can or get back to the board.
No questions, but I did want to just say congratulations on all the hard work the team's doing. Congratulations on all the awards for your faculty.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's amazing. So many things to celebrate in this report. Appreciate it. Great work.
I know.
That's very rare. Yeah, sorry. That's very rare to have all areas, departments, divisions, et cetera, to have all their assessments done and assisted with. So it's just not, it's rarely seen at many institutions across the country. So good job.
And at a busy time of the year, so.
Yeah.
If there are no other questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve the report, please?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we'll have the Vice President of Student Affairs and Enrollment Management report with Dr. Myers.
Thank you again.
Hello again.
Couple things I wanted to highlight from our report, besides what we talked about the SEM planning. Since we last met, we got information from Sporting Kansas City Children's Park that we had approximately 6,000 guests at the commencement ceremony between the two ceremonies. So, if you recall, we had a little capacity issue the previous year, and so the opportunity to be able to celebrate it with all of our graduates and all those guests was really quite amazing. And I want to acknowledge the team that did that, specifically Teresa Holiday and Andrea Wilson from the Registrar's Office, who are instrumental in leading that team. Related to that, our graduation processing has also improved. You notice on the board report in the Registrar's Office, they were able to process about 200 more degrees in May compared to the previous year, and also get about 450 more transcripts out. A lot of it's because as we've improved our graduation processing, where students submit it through online through colleague, it allows them to get that degree in their hands a lot quicker and faster. So we're seeing a lot of great progress on that. As I mentioned previously, our enrollment does look very strong for the summer. Fall is about, at time of reporting, was 2%. We're seeing a little slippage this week, but we have a team that's working across the college that's now meeting weekly, where we're looking at different populations of students, specifically around the financial aid application, and doing targeted reach out to them through texting, email nudges, phone calls to give them the help they need. We did start awarding financial aid early last week. So students are now getting their award notifications, but more importantly, they're getting information from financial aid specifically about what additional forms or things they might have needed to do related to the FAFSA challenges. So it's going to be a big push, but we're trying to provide as much resources, personalized services as we can to students, and also get them information to be proactive about getting things straightened out for the fall semester. Also in the report, you'll see that we've had some great additions to our basic needs program. They are partnering now with a system out of the University of Kansas called IRIS, which provides referral services for students for services that might not be available on campus. So it gives our basic needs center, Finn and his team, the opportunity to be able to more resources they can connect to students with. You might have noticed if you've been around campus the last 2 weeks, the Upward Bound Summer Academy is now up and running. So we have lots of those students on our campus. It's fun to see them. And they're doing some great work there. Dr. Mosher did mention our Title III site visit. We did have that last week. We are in the process of submitting performance objectives, modifications to that, as Dr. Pope or Mr. Pope mentioned. Like with developmental English and stuff like that, and co-requisite math, we're working on revisions to those so that we facilitate more co-requisite education, and also use some of the carryover money to build capacity at the college from year one. For your information, the grant was awarded late in the grant year, so we do have some carryover from the first year money that we're looking to reinvest into infrastructure and to help continue our growth of guided pathways advising and developmental education. A couple of recognitions I do want to make. Congratulations to what I like to think is one of the best assistants in the world, Miss Tina Lisa Turner. She won the staff member of the award this year, and we're very proud of her accomplishment. Congratulations goes to women's basketball athlete Kaylin Rogers, who won the Leah Plarsky Award from the NGCAA, which is one of 3 national awards for students. And so we're very proud of the work that she did. Teresa Hill Collier, our Director of Admissions and Recruitment, has been appointed to a NASPA region board where she will be the membership coordinator for Kansas. We're very proud of her accomplishment. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is congratulations to our entire athletic department. They achieved a 3.24 GPA for the spring semester and had 45 students with a perfect grade point average. So, they're excelling on the field, but they're also excelling in the classroom. With that, I'm happy to take any questions or comments.
Outstanding.
Dr. Myers, I had a couple questions. I know you mentioned that the summer enrollment is up. any reason that you all have found? Because I know for my day, I didn't want to go to summer.
Yeah.
I wanted to enjoy my summer. Are we hearing anything from the students on what's causing them to be here?
Yeah, I'm with you too. I never took summer classes. I think there's several things. One is the FAFSA issues that students did it for the summer aid. They had to do they did the previous FAFSA, so it was easier to get in. I think a lot of it's also attributed to our online or our improvements in the online application for admission, that they are able to make that decision and maybe start sooner. So we're still trying to monitor how many of those students might have started in the fall versus the summer. But I think the other thing I've noted is 2/3 of our enrollment in the summer is online classes. And so we're seeing that is, you speak to that comment about flexibility, the ability to pick up a class or two during the summertime to stay on progress towards degree, but more importantly, students who are visiting back home and taking courses from us also gives us the opportunity to sit and say, you know what, maybe you should come here in the fall and spring too. So I think there's a couple of factors that are speaking to that, but we're definitely want to take advantage of that.
Awesome, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? If not,
Congratulations on the academic achievements of those athletes. That's incredible.
I'd say, as usual, student housing is already full, but I did read that there's 4 beds being held for international students for their visa. Do we have, I know some of our athletes are international, but do we just have room for just international students who come here, or are they all athletes?
We do have some room. The ones you're referencing to are for students that had pending visa statuses, so they've expressed their interest in coming to school here. So we want to make sure we hold their spot as they are working through the immigration stuff.
That's great. Okay, thank you.
All right, do we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Myers. Next, we have the Vice President of Educational Innovation and Global Programming Report with Dr. Elby. Good evening.
Yes, Susan is sharing my screen. I feel so cheated in time. I always thought we had 3 minutes, and I just learned we have 5. So I'm going to hold my last minute so you all could sing happy birthday to me, which is on Thursday. But educational innovation and global programming, as you know, includes adult and continuing education, high school partnerships, online education services, international scholar services, and workforce innovation. And we're really excited because, as Dr. Mosher said, we were inducted into the University of Kansas Health System Hall of Fame, which was a beautiful ceremony. Thank you for everyone who could have attended. Also, I want to give a shout out because we launched our Kids on Campus summer program this week, and our students are excited. Our program has kind of been revamped, and it's just rocking and rolling. So there you have the week schedule. In our high school partnership, they have been extremely dedicated to the mission of collaboration. I want to say thank you to our internal stakeholders like Dr. Myers and his team. Shout out to the psychology department, particularly Victor Amos, for really coming in together to help us support a matriculation mixer and a Connect, Converge, and Dueling Concurrent Instructor Symposium. During the matriculation mixer, we had over 24 students who came in to kind of learn how to apply to the college. They took the Accuplacer exam, and kind of like a you can do this type of feel of attending college. The same thing with the Instructor Symposium, where our Dueling Concurrent counselors and faculty kind of got revamped and reintroduced to what it meant to be such integral players and partners in our high school partnerships, solidifying our network and our relationship with our school programs. They were just both well attended and fantastic events. In international scholar services, not only are we having robust numbers for student visas, but we're also seeing more of our international students transfer out to four-year institutions. Dr. Scott has been diligent in kind of showing the pathway of what it means to start at the community college, what the benefits are, and where you can go from there. Her work has definitely been recognized across the state, as she was elected as the board chair for the Kansas International Education Unit. So kudos to her, Dr. Scott. Yeah, we could clap for that. As we move on, yay! As we move on to online education services, Susan and her team have definitely successfully transferred into our new LMS system, the first iteration, and we're continuing to increase our training modules for our instructors to make sure that this fall we kick off strong. I want to give also a congratulations to Susan as she completed the Kansas Community College Leadership Institute, and a shout out to Dr. Mosier for recognizing her project proposal was something that we could implement here on our campus, which leads us to the integration and the launch of the fall of our faculty teaching studio, where instructors can come in, pre-record their classes, and kind of get familiar with technology prior to being in an online environment. So good job, Susan. As we move on to workforce innovation, if you guys know Coach Piper, and yes, we call him Coach, we know he is the Energizer Bunny when it comes to energy. And he definitely has demonstrated that with his ability to not only reinforce and solidify some partnerships, but just the initiatives that he has led across the community, representing the college, representing our partnership with FAME, making sure our students are aware of the opportunities that are available for them, not only in apprenticeships, but what it means to be a student that could actually come, earn, and learn and be successful at a community college. He has also partnered very strategically with our foundation, constantly and readily creating opportunities for relationship building and enhancement. Shout out to Mary and her team for the Scholarship Award Luncheon. It was phenomenal. Next here, you'll see pictured are our ProX interns. We have 5 interns in our division, and we're excited. We're so excited, we're asking you to save the date. On July 9th at 9 a.m. right here, they're going to present their final projects as to what they've been doing here at KCKCC. And now I stop, and you guys sing. But do you have any questions?
I do have a question. The faculty teaching studio.
Yes, madam.
Is that going to be open to the public for a fee?
That sounds like a question that y'all want to discuss.
Yeah, we'd have to have further discussion on that and availability and stuff, and yeah.
If someone needs to test it and try it out.
we might be able to find someone who could test it and try it out, I think.
And I say that because I know we think about, some of the things that we're missing in Wyandotte County, especially, shared space, and those podcast studios, here. We have them in other parts of the city, but not anything quite like that in KCK. I look forward to exploring that further.
And for me, more of a comment. I'm so happy to see Kids on Campus is coming back. And also, I didn't mention it, from the HR report, I saw a lot of the rehires were people returning who had been a part of it before. And I was glad to see that because that provides continuity. I know you said you did some revamping, but if you have people returning who worked last summer, that really helps facilitate moving things instead of bringing everything from the ground. So I was glad to see that.
And I'll just add, the revamping was more around the program schedule and just the strategy and the weekly offerings.
All right.
But it also was a reinvestment in our counselors. We hired them on 2 weeks prior to their start date. We focused really on giving them essential skills to get them professionally ready. We had things around familiarizing them with the college campus, making sure that they were all CPR certified, working with youth, and just creating an ecosystem of support. So we're really excited about that.
And we also have some of our tutors or teachers that are in the program who used to be the students of Kids on Campus. So it's nice to see that evolution as well.
That's even more enriching.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Rebbe, how many students do you have? How many participants for Kids on Campus?
I know. So we are broaching around 200, right? We're just under that mark. And before I step away, I want to give a shout out to Andrea, who's our Assistant Director in Adult and Continuing Education, because she came here not only with great experience, but also with great vision as to what does a summer youth program needs to look like for students to make sure that it's enriching, make sure that it's something that's introducing them holistically to continued education and higher education, so that it's not a transaction. One of the things that we're looking at in adult and continuing education is, regardless of where a student starts in our pipeline, how do we make sure we keep them here, promoting that lifelong learning trajectory and engaging them in ways that they have not been engaged before?
Okay, one more comment, and I'm going to stop because just tagging on to something else that Trustee Hoskins Sutton said when I looked at your report and I saw some things that you had planned for just this week, I was excited. And being appreciative of our diverse community and opening up cultural heritage experiences for the students. Hats off.
Thank you.
That's a phenomenal job.
Thank you. Yes, so many great programs and work going on in this department right now. Thank you for really driving that. We appreciate it. And I will not punish everyone here or online with my singing, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
later
Thank you.
this
Happy
week.
birthday
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, fabulous. I know I didn't say it right, but that's what I call you. Fabulous. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you,
Well, they had to endure mine, so.
Well, thank you. All right, if there are no other questions or comments, do we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the Chief Marketing and Institutional Image Officer report with Ms. Green. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
Today, I just want to take a few moments to share with you some of the exciting news out of the division. One of the first things I want to do is welcome 2 more departments to our division. Media Services and Central Scheduling will now be part of our division, and we welcome them all to our group, all focused on institutional image and branding. We work together often, so we welcome them to the team. Also, we did a lot of networking. I did a lot of networking. My team did a lot of networking this last month, including going to Sporting KC as part of the WIDEC group, and also meeting with other marketing partners in our community. And then we also spent a day on our cabinet retreat, and we have lots to show for that. One of the things I want to let you all know is that we were recognized in Community College Daily for our marketing ROI strategy. They asked that I write an article outlining how we approached it, as it's something of a confusion across the campus, across the nation, and exactly how to do it, and liked our approach. So that was a great story that happened in June, early June. And also, I want to say that we completed our 100 stories. So they are 100 stories now online.
That's awesome.
And they are doing wonderful things to our social media reach. We are looking at stories, and every time this story here had over 10,956 people who were reached and interacted, and that was for our volleyball coach in her 100 story. So I just want to share that as we've wrapped up commencement, we've also wrapped up the official 100 count. However, we like the story series, and we're going to continue to feature stories about how KCKCC impacts other people's lives. One of the other things I wanted to give a shout out to is the athletics team. Through Charlie, our athletics activities and media specialist, there have been some really great interactions and photography showing all of what we've accomplished that's reaching more and more people each week. In addition, Media Services streams those games. We have over 140 to 150 people watching that game online. Part of the reason is we've invested in some technology, and then we'll continue to invest in that technology over the next year to put it with the rest. So I do want to say thank you also to Media Services, because that's a lot of games in a busy schedule for our home schedule, and they are making an impact. And then finally, the last thing I'd like to talk about is that we are moving forward with our website redesign. We spent the fall and spring looking at research, and now we're starting to explore how it is we organize and dissect our website so that it is really student enrollment focused. And that's the work we'll be doing over the fall to hopefully launch it early in the spring between enrollment periods. That's my report tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
right, thank you very much,
Very
Ms.
good.
Green.
Yeah.
If there are
Thank you,
no
Chris.
comments or questions, do we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again. Next, we have the Chief Financial Officer report with Ms. Leslie Stroshine, Controller and Interim Chief Financial Officer. Good evening.
Good evening. The Finance Department is busy wrapping up for the fiscal year. One of our big initiatives this year was we received just over $900,000 from the state for apprenticeship funding. And between our AET program and working with Dr. Rayobe in the Educational Innovation and Global Programming division, we have spent all of those funds. So we're happy to report that we were able to use those and find good ways to support our apprenticeship efforts on campus. And we will be receiving that amount of funding again next year. So another good problem to have. The business office is working on promoting their new payment plans. They had a event the last couple of weeks where they had popcorn out, and we're encouraging students to pop into self-service and take care of their payment plan, and just helping to bring awareness to that option for students. We have a lot of outstanding student debt, and we're trying to work on getting those numbers down, so making them aware of what their options are. The facilities department has been busy with projects inside and outside. They built a new bridge from CEB to the math science building where the concrete was crumbling. Did some water line replacement in the humanities area of this building. They have been cleaning and resetting Centennial Hall for next fall. There's always some minor repairs and cleaning type stuff that need to take place. And working on some of the strategic asks for this year, like soundproofing the audio engineering areas and different projects like that. In the police department, we reported a few months ago that Kenneth Brown and Elijah Jameson were going to the Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center, and they now graduate later this month and will be able to join our force here on campus. So looking forward to having them with us. For the financial report, our net position for this month was $119 million. That's slightly less than last month. But our burn rate, our actual spend rate, was down $2 million from the average that we would expect. Our revenue for the month was $929,000, and that was mostly tuition and fees for summer, some grants that we finally pulled in at the end of the year, and then auxiliary sales. Students come in the month of May and buy their graduation items from the bookstore, and then also start buying their course materials for summer. And then we had $145,000 this month in investment income from our CDs. Our expenses for May, like I said, were about $2 million lower than the average. And we discussed last month some of the funds that looked like they were lower than anticipated in spend. And so we did want to just share with you that I pulled some numbers recently, and we do have a little over $1 million in outstanding purchase orders where the funds have been encumbered. We've entered into agreements for services or ordered items that are just delayed or not quite done yet. So those funds will be spent against this year once those items are done. Any questions?
Leslie, where are we with the gym floor?
With the gym floor, it closed last week, the RFP process, and I believe they've made a selection, but we haven't finalized the contract yet.
Okay, thank you.
And for me, more of a comment, I cut it off when I was talking about consent items, but regarding the officers, anyone that wants to come back to us, that's great, because I just heard on the news last night that the starting rate on the Missouri side for a police officer is $69,000, and I'm sure, I don't know that we can really match a base pay starting at $69,000. So just so that the record is clear, I'm not against someone coming back. I was just questioning the process. Okay, thank you.
Leslie, you mentioned that there was some outstanding debt that we were trying to take care of, but this popcorn event, it looks like, is more for payment plans for this upcoming fall. Are we seeing any certain trend as far as what happens that causes that outstanding debt? Is it payment plans that fail mid-year, or just curious?
It's a combination of things. I'm always surprised how few students actually set up payment plans, and I don't know if that's awareness or just not wanting to lock themselves into that. A lot of students are waiting on financial aid, and so they don't do anything, but then financial aid may not come through as much as they thought, or they don't want to take the student loan, so they still have that unpaid balance. Also, we went back to a new system it's new this year, but we did have it before, because the system we were using for payment plans didn't allow them to make any alterations. So we had a lot of students who were on scholarship, but then also in the dorm, and they didn't want to set up the payment plan for the whole amount, which makes sense because covering your tuition's a good half of your bill. And this new payment plan system does allow that. We also signed up with them for past due payment plans, which we did not have previously. So students can have up to $1,000 balance, right under $1,000, and still enroll, but they're carrying that old balance, and coming up with $1,000 at once is not easy to do. So with these past due payment plans also available in the system, we're hoping that more students will lock themselves into that and get set up on a payment where it eventually does get cleared off.
So we are providing that extra flexibility, and we're not dropping a student if they aren't paid on the first day of classes. We're giving opportunities.
Correct.
It sounds like.
Yeah, we are not now. We have tried it before. We've talked about bringing it back just to get them to force them to lock into something, but that would just be to have payment arrangements. They wouldn't have to be paid in full on the first day. We just want them to set themselves up for these options and not wait till the last day to think about paying their bill. So.
Thank you. Appreciate the extra background on that.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm sorry. Do you know what our student loan default rate is?
I do not. I don't know, Chris.
I don't, but it's actually very low compared to our institutional peers, so it's good to see. So we have allowed greater expansion in opportunities and for payment, and a little bit of extensions to see how that affects the retention and persistence rate without putting us at any major significant financial risk. And as Leslie and the chair mentioned, that they've got to be signed up for a payment plan. So, but we're giving a little bit more flexibility, and we're working our way to kind of find that happy median, as we look at year to year kind of comparisons.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate the report. Thank you. If there's no other questions or discussion, do we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the Chief Human Resources Officer report with Mr. De Leon, Director of Employee Relations and Interim Chief Human Resources Officer. Good evening.
Good evening, all. I'd like to begin with the Human Resources team remains especially active in all HR functional areas. I'd like to begin with the talent acquisition area. We are continue to take steps locally in leveraging our personal contacts locally here, attending local career fairs, and another update that goes beyond our local area. Most recently, a couple of months back, we in the HR team, we've begun to develop an annual plan for recruiting and talent acquisition and career fairs. So we're going to work with Dr. Steve Nattles in ensuring that we organize that internally and share that a little bit more. We are taking advantage a little bit more, I think, that all of the contacts and communications that Dr. Mosier, Dr. Baylog, and all folks in the leadership group ensure that we already have so much activity in the community. We need to work a little bit harder and uncover certain areas within our community. One of which is a recent career fair the Human Resources team attended, and it was titled, since 2015, it's titled Better Together. So Better Together has served over 42,000 job seekers. But again, the intent and the approach is to ensure that we're continuing to engage with folks locally. Being born and raised here myself, we're taking advantage of those, and we'll continue to do that on a larger area. And I appreciate Dr. Baylog mentioning this, and I know he also did last month. Dr. Baylog, Dr. Mosier are true champions of the HR initiative through LinkedIn. We here at the college are engaging with LinkedIn a little bit differently than we have in the past. It's very true to state that we are one of 4 Kansas higher education entities that are engaging with LinkedIn on such an approach. And what it is our LinkedIn partner that we have, that's our liaison, is guiding us and advising us on strategically utilizing the LinkedIn tool with not only artificial intelligence, but algorithms on who we are and what we are. And I'm going to steal this from Dr. Mosier and Dr. Baylog because they are our champions, screaming from the rooftops of who we are and what our story is here in Kansas City, Kansas. So what we're doing, another attempt at a better job, is spreading out a little bit more, which includes Our team is being more educated on social media platforms, in this case LinkedIn, value and review strategies and their advice on how to better utilize the tool in a period of time in which we're identifying over the next 6 months, and we're looking to provide more specific details and updates to you all in the coming weeks, or in the coming months in board meetings. Metric-driven recommendations. The numbers will help us make more determinations and decisions as we look at, on a daily basis, I call the daily work, where we'll look at the opportunities in which we can identify our hard-to-fill jobs, and we slot them so they're placed on a higher pedestal on the platform of LinkedIn. To continue that, we're looking to find the right people faster. We're not waiting on people coming to our website, or we're not waiting for somebody always to reach out to one of you to let us know or anything like that. We're now going after people. And again, we support the marketing leadership with Chris Green and her staff. What's already in place, we're just supporting that through LinkedIn. We're looking to target right candidates. As you all may have an opportunity, have gone into LinkedIn on your own, and maybe it plops up a communication that keywords in artificial intelligence of whom you are, who you are, what you've done in your past, and that's how we're connecting with people. So we're sending those communications out. Now, we're gonna have different numbers and more numbers on what that actually means. Are they true qualified applicants, et cetera, et cetera. So finally, I'd like to follow up with 3 specific areas: goals, strategies, and measures. Again, we're casting a wider net. We're gonna be meeting bi-weekly with our leader, advisor, and support at LinkedIn, and we're looking to post jobs on a daily basis. And not all of our jobs every day, but a large group of them, and we're still utilizing the day-to-day LinkedIn account that we have at the college. It is a game changer, and we're looking forward to giving you more reports. On a final update, I would like to share on a personal note. I'd like to thank each and every one of you all, the Board of Trustees, President's Office, leaders here. My family recently went through a personal item, and I want to thank everybody for the recognition. I truly feel valued here at the college, and my family was recognized, and I thank you, Dr. Bozier, Dr. Baylog, and leaders. I really wanted to thank the Board of Trustees as well. When we had the display of flowers where we were at our services, I made sure they were right there when everybody walked in. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Any questions?
No, I'll just echo Dr. Baylog's earlier comments. We thank you for all the work that you've done as an interim, and you've been very, very busy working on different projects. So thank you for all the efforts that you put forward. It's 100% all the way. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Yes, I'll echo that too. Thank you for work as interim. I'm sure you weren't expecting that as you first came on board, that you'd be thrust right into the spotlight there, but we appreciate everything you've done as we've conducted this search. So
thank you. I see challenges as opportunities, so thank you all so much.
I do have a question just about the LinkedIn program, and I'm glad that we're working with them to kind of tune that in. One thing, LinkedIn is a frustrating thing for me personally sometimes, because the recruiting aspect of it sometimes isn't very well dialed in. Sometimes you get job offers or recruiting, people are contacting you about jobs that are 1/3 of your salary expectations, or it's just not even your field. So I really hope that we're working with them to make sure we're recruiting the right people and not putting ourselves out there to people who it might give us a bad image. So.
Well, I appreciate that comment, and there's so much to add there. We'll add more, but I'd like to start with that, a response to that. It's incumbent upon us, human resources and our leaders, to title our job descriptions a certain way, very specific, because those titles are especially impactful where we're hitting the right targets. Because already with a few recent positions we've had posted, we sent out regionally. And immediately, I do not kid you, with that quickly, we're able to identify whether it's a couple of thousand or whatever, but to your point, they have to be successfully reached out to and qualified, because as they come in, some are not qualified, but we have to focus on whether it's job descriptions, whether it's the focus on the communication that we rely on LinkedIn to communicate to certain people that have what we're looking for. So again, I want to harp on the job descriptions, but how we post things and how we communicate of who we are and what we are, and they're specific to those algorithms that LinkedIn does provide. So that's a very good question. We'll have more to report on.
Yeah, it definitely takes that continued human touch. The algorithm can't do it all, so I appreciate you keeping the focus there too.
Thank you. It's part of the daily work, so thank you.
Sam, I do want to congratulate you all for using LinkedIn. I am a LinkedIn fan, Chair. And I do remember seeing one of the posts, and I remember calling Dr. Baylog, and I'm like, yes, because it makes it so much easier to share. And on the flip side, I was glad to hear you say that you all are working very, very close with Chris Green, because how we look as an organization on LinkedIn is just as critical as the candidates that we're looking at on LinkedIn, whether when you're speaking to someone who's looking for another position, it's like you know you need to prepare for this way before you're really looking for it. So our image on LinkedIn is looking really, really good, including what our foundation will post and our athletics department. It's just as critical. So congratulations on you all making that connection.
Thank you. And we are very consistent with Chris Green and her team and what the college communication is and should be. So when we reach out to people, they're seeing the same communication, the consistent, the parallel communication that must be delivered from those of us inside of the college to outside. Because when we bring people in, we're screaming from the rooftops a little bit more. And I echo that from Dr. Baylog, Dr. Mosier. But also our unique points of contact, all of us, that we have in our history of our careers. We all have so many contacts that we need to take advantage of that a little better, and we'll be monitoring things. Dr. Isner. Okay.
Any other questions or discussion?
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. DeLeon. Entertain a motion to accept the report, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we are ready for the Chief Information Officer report with Mr. Gabriel.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
Just a quick comment. If any of you have any tips after the meeting about teaching a 15-year-old to drive, I'd be glad to talk to you.
Lots of open space.
I have a couple things I wanted to talk about off my report and a couple things that are not on the report. I want to start off with the database services team and their upgrade of the colleague UI, or colleague user interface. They upgraded it from version 5 to version 6. They also, this month, have been working with Brady Beckman, the Director of Student Success and Retention, along with the Lucian's Action Line support to resolve some issues we've had with our automated advisor assignments. They were updating in Colleague, but not transferring over to CRM Advise, which is the tool that they would use to view those. So they were able to resolve that just fine. And they've also been anticipating the migration of Colleague SaaS to the cloud. So they've started to put together a complete list of what we'll call our third-party, and I'll air quote it, integrations, whether it's we're trading files back and forth with a third party, we're talking over an API, or however we're doing that integration. So that way we have that information ready when we come to that point of the migration. We're ready to go. There's going to be a back-to-school fair on August 9th. The computing services team from my area will have a staff member at the fair, along with a large cabinet of computers to check out. So if there's any students that would like to check one out during the back-to-school fair, it'll be available, and they'll also be able to answer any questions that they may have around any other technology. I'm also happy to say we've kicked off a couple of projects and engagements this month. The first one is with Logicalis. We basically kicked off a project with them for a full year of projects around Microsoft 365, basically focusing on security and device management with 365. And then the other one is Tandem Cyber. We are partnering with them. They will monitor, respond to threats, and advise us on changes to improve our security posture, mostly through 365 and then server patches and things like that. And I'm going quick, but I wanted to mention one thing that Dr. Mosier mentioned during his report about the adopt funds for the laptops. I can take any questions you'd like, but I wanted to thank Amanda Franzi, and if I said your name incorrectly, I'm sorry, but for her effort and her work on that. She worked with me a lot on that project and sat in on the interview, and I just appreciate all the work that she did on that. So I think those laptops will be great for the students and to give us some more to check out every semester. So, and I'd be glad to take any questions if you have them. And
Peter, recently there have been several well-publicized cyber hacks among government agencies in the greater metropolitan Kansas City area. I don't suppose they've led up here, at least the attempts.
Not yet. I was going to make a joke earlier when I mentioned Tandem and those that maybe I'll get a little more sleep, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it's almost turned over the last few years of more of a when, not if, right? Everyone's time seems to be coming, and when that'll be. We're just trying to do what we can with the help of Logicalis and with Tandem Cyber to try to prevent that or push that down the road as far as we can. So,
well, we've been fortunate for a long time, and I don't think that's by accident. So, appreciate the efforts of your entire group, working on that to try to be sure. And it takes cooperation of all the employees and the users on the system as well, as you know. And so just want to commend everybody for keeping us out of that headline.
Thank you. And with Logicalis and with the Tandem, there will be many changes to come. But those changes will come with as minimal impact on staff, faculty, students as possible. So
Good.
And the
We'll
expansion to the cloud will
Yes.
add some additional live updates. I mean, momentarily updates for security features as well. So,
Keep up the good work.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be able to attend a session at one of the ACCT events, the last one or the one before, that really dove into some of those security issues that colleges are seeing across the country. And I know we don't want to get into too much detail in an open session about vulnerabilities, but maybe sometime we can get a executive session set up just to get a good report about where we stand and what we're seeing. So thank you for your work there.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I have just one more thing. That
Sure.
is part of what Tandem will provide. They will provide those sessions once we get up and rolling. They said we should be fully up to speed in about 3 months. So
great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, do we have a motion to accept the report, please?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, that is the last of our reports this evening. That brings us to unfinished business. And now I'll present the proposed 2024-2025 Board of Trustees meeting schedule. I believe all of you have seen this in your packet. There's been a couple of email communications out from myself just as I've given updates as we've gotten feedback from all the trustees, from administration. So I've given my proposal. It includes one morning meeting still. It would be at the Pioneer Career Center. That would be Tuesday, October 15th. And then the other two previously morning sessions would move to the evening. We would still have one meeting Tuesday, April 15th, 2025 at the Tech Center. But then that just levels out the rest of our meetings for the 24-25 year of being, as we've continued to do, a 4 p.m. special session if necessary, and then our regular session at 5 p.m. So at this time, I would ask if there is a motion to approve the proposed 2024-2025 trustee meeting schedule.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. That brings us to new business. At this time, I would invite the presentation of the pre-approved contracts list for fiscal year 25 presented by Ms. Stroschein.
Hello again. In your packet, we are presenting the pre-approved contract list for next fiscal year. These are contracts that are $25,000 or more that would usually require board approval as they're incurred. We have vetted these for the vendors for prices. Some of them have been bid out recently, and they cover areas of facilities, administration, IT, athletics, academics, marketing. And so we would just like to see if there's any questions or if you are willing to approve it as it stands.
Any questions or discussion?
Any spikes or anything that is pretty consistent year to year?
Yep, right. And you will still see each of these purchases as they come through, whether it's the whole contract or in pieces on the bill listing.
Yeah, yeah.
And Leslie and I have gone through them pretty thoroughly, just making sure that, you know, they're still competitive compared to other work that's been done lately or other projects that we've heard about or any type of variable that we wanted to consider prior to placing them on this list for your consideration.
One good one I'll point out, Trustee Ash, to your comment, is our insurance. We have it on here. It'll be about 1.2 million. It went up less than 1% this year for our premium, and we just communicated amongst the 19 community colleges, and some went up 20 to 40%. So it's pretty significant that we were able to keep ours flat.
Good. Awesome.
All look very standard to me. So if there's no other questions or discussion, do we have a motion to approve the pre-approved contracts list for fiscal year 25?
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Well, that brings us to the end of our agenda this evening. If there are no other closing comments, then I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.
I think Dr. Ryobi has cake and ice cream, right?